Praise be to Jesus. We thank God for His grace and His mercies. We've been speaking on the subject of rest. Now, I want to show you how you can actually practice from a position of rest. I'm looking at the example of Jesus. In Luke chapter 8, I read from verse 22 to 25. Now, it happened on a certain day that he got into a boat with his disciples. And he said to them, let us cross over to the other side of the lake. These are disciples. These are his own people. These are not unbelievers. And they launched out. But as they sailed, he fell asleep. Key word, key phrase, he fell asleep. And a windstorm came down on the lake. And they were filled with water and were in jeopardy. And they came to him and awoke him, saying, Master, Master, we are perishing. Then he rose and rebuked the storm and the raging of the water. And they ceased, and there was a calm. My emphasis is going to be on the next verse, verse 25 of Luke chapter 8. But he said to them, where is your faith? And they were afraid and marveled, saying to one another, who can this be? For he commands even the winds, and they obey him. Now, right from the verse 22, 23, 24, you notice that as soon as he entered the boat, he fell asleep. When the storms came, he was still asleep. Now, you cannot tell me that Jesus did not hear the storm. He fell asleep. And they came to him and awoke him, saying, Master, Master, we are perishing. Then he rose, and the first thing he did was to rebuke the storm. Then he turned to them. Point is this. If Jesus rebuked the storm and turned to you, he rebuked the storm and turned to them, where is your faith? He's trying to tell them something. You called me, you woke me up to rebuke the storm. But I am questioning your faith because you could have also rebuked the storm. What was the difference between Jesus rebuking the storm and they being unable to rebuke the storm? Where is your faith? There are some battles you can only overcome when you operate from a position of rest. When the storms came, there were storms in their hearts. There was an issue of unbelief. They were not at rest. But Jesus was at rest. He was sleeping because no matter the trouble, I must still remain in my position of rest. When I remain in my position of rest, in the position of belief, in the position of seated with him, in the heavenly realm, at the right hand of the Father, I am assured of victory over every storm. But when I cannot sleep in the storm, I cannot rebuke the storm. When storms come, remember you are still at rest. When troubles come, remember you are still at rest. Most believers cannot rest when there's trouble. If you cannot rest when there's trouble, you cannot rebuke the storm. So the difference was that in times of difficulty, in times of things that look unsurmountable, in times of issues, situations that look huge, mountains, situations that come to overwhelm you, even in that situation, you must remain at rest, meaning that you are seated in the Father, you are assured of your victory. So Jesus slept in the storm, in the boat, when the storms came. He heard the storm, but he was quiet. There are some things he will not do for you. Where is your faith? If you can live in rest, you can do what I'm doing. Because we are seated together in the heavenly places in Christ. We are seated together in that position, meaning that whatever he is capable of doing, you have the capacity, you have the potential, you have the endowment to do. He says, where is your faith? I did this, but you could have also done it. But because you are not at rest, because you are not sleeping in the storm, Some of you, your trouble, your only challenge is that you are too troubled in the midst of trouble. But I came to assure you that in the midst of every storm, the greatest weapon is to operate at rest. This is Pastor Edemado, and God bless you.